They told you gold was the ultimate store of value. Well, they lied. Look at this chart. Bitcoin beats gold in almost every single category. And here's what they don't want you to know. Satoshi, he didn't just create Bitcoin randomly. He specifically designed it as gold 2.0. And obviously the results speak for themselves. Over the last 15 years or so, it's been blowing up. What's up, everyone? It's your boy Shubsy. Today we're going to expose the biggest lie in finance. Look at this post right here. This is Satoshi himself saying Bitcoin as an implementation of Nick Szabo's BitGold proposal, which was basically gold, e-gold, what Peter Schiff has been trying to say people should do, an invention of that. Now, while gold has been stable in dollar terms, it's collapsed. I mean, look at this chart, 84% against Bitcoin since 2020. So one Bitcoin now essentially buys you 16 times more gold than it did just 5 years ago. So today I'm going to break down why exactly gold failed as money, how we got trapped in this inflationary nightmare, and why Bitcoin is superior to gold. All right, first let's go back to this chart. Let's understand why Satoshi uses gold as his blueprint, right? Look at all these green boxes here. Both Bitcoin and gold share pretty similar properties. They're both fungible. They're not portable or verifiable, kind of, and they're both scarce, which is the big one. They both have limited supply that can't be increased. So Satoshi wasn't trying to reinvent from scratch. He was trying to fix gold's flaws while keeping its best properties. He understood that gold was, the best money that humanity's ever had for 5,000 years, and he wanted to fix the vulnerability that it has against government manipulation. So both gold and Bitcoin are what we call energy money. They both require some work to actually get the gold or the Bitcoin. Proof of work is what this is called. People have to do the actual work and actually receive some value from doing that work. You can't just print a Bitcoin. You can't just print gold like they do fiat and any other currency. You can't print labor and human value. This is why both of these things, they represent stored value and human efforts. All right, but here's where the story gets kind of dark. Gold didn't fail because it was bad money. It failed because of its physical limitations. So look at these red boxes. The portability of gold is obviously super low. You can't carry 100,000 worth of gold bars or whatever in your backpack and settle. If you buy something and you want to transact with that money, you're not going to transact globally and actually settle in gold bars. Divisibility wise, it's also low. I mean, you obviously can't make change with gold bars. But the real killer here was the censorship resistant, right? It's moderate here, but I could argue that it's low. So in 1933, President Roosevelt, he signed an executive order, right? Everyone knows 6102, and he literally made it illegal for Americans to own gold. They confiscated it all. And the reason was because the government, they printed too many dollars and they needed to devalue the currency. And then came 1944, the Bretton Woods system. Instead of holding gold directly, countries held the dollars that were backed by the gold. And this was the beginning of the end. So 1971, Nixon closes the gold window. No more gold backing. So he just removes the dollars. He removes saying that, hey, these dollars are backed by gold. That we're just getting rid of that. And that's how we got here. Endless inflation, currency debasement, and all that was because gold had its flaws. It was very easy to centralize and very easy to manipulate. Now let's look at the Bitcoin column here. This is why it's gold 2.0, right? It fixes every single flaw that gold had. The only thing it's really missing is history. It's only 15 years old, maybe more, 17 now actually. Now, if we look at this, the portability is obviously high. I can carry even $1 billion worth of Bitcoin in my head with just a 12-word seed phrase. You obviously can't do that with gold. Divisibility is high, right? Bitcoin's divisible down to 100 million units, called a Satoshi, perfect for any size. Verifiability, this is honestly the biggest thing. With gold, you need expensive equipment to test the purity of it. Is it even real gold? There's a lot of fake gold out there. With Bitcoin, it's just math. You just run a node and you actually check whether it's real or not. You know that it's real. You can't really fake it. There's no trust required. All right, here's the game changer though. Look at this supply chart here. Gold supply keeps increasing forever while we keep mining more of the gold, while Bitcoin, that has a hard cap at 21 million. So in the beginning years, obviously it was a lot of Bitcoins, and then every 4 years or so, the Bitcoin's output gets halved, called halving. And eventually, I think around 2100 or so, actually 2050 it looks like, we're at 21 million. I think 95% of all Bitcoin have already been mined, and it'll be 99% by just 2032. So it'll just be 1% coming out into supply. So it's a scarce asset. And then talking about the supply, if you look at this is Mark Harvey's tweet right here. Goldbugs warn of quantum computing killing Bitcoin, but completely ignore this asteroid. Everyone's been talking about this asteroid. It's essentially has an entire market of gold sitting on there, $100 quadrillion worth of gold. Obviously, if a lot of this gold is introduced to the market, it'll crash the price. The supply goes up, demand goes down, right? And that's enough to crash the gold market overnight, really, if we can find all this gold. We're already developing asteroid mining technology. SpaceX, Elon's company, Blue Origin, NASA, they're all working on this. So what happens to the gold scarcity when we can literally mine asteroids full of it? And Bitcoin, it's mathematically set, programmably set. There's only going to be 21 million, not 21 million and one. There's not going to be any other Bitcoin floating around in space that we can find. It's just 21 million is the truest scarcity that anyone can ask for. Now, censorship resistant. This is actually Bitcoin's superpower. It's decentralized across thousands of nodes worldwide. No single government can shut it down. In fact, China tried shutting it down back in 2022? Yeah, they banned it, but it took a hit that day, or that's essentially started the bear market last time, but look where it's at now. It's back up, right? Whoever actually embraces this technology, this money, is going to win. It's kind of like shutting out internet. Why would a country want to shut out internet for themselves? Whoever adopts this the fastest is going to win. And obviously, this is going to be the most decentralized money. As long as it stays decentralized, Bitcoin will win. Gold requires third parties, trusted third parties, banks, vaults, custodians. Bitcoin just eliminates that middleman, and you can just be your own bank. You can hold your own keys, hold your own money in your head, even if you just memorize 12 words. Well, that's kind of dangerous, but you should have some backups and do some multi-sig. But essentially, you don't need to trust any third party. Both gold and Bitcoin are just energy money. But Bitcoin is the purest energy money. It's literally electricity pointed towards a miner, an ASIC, and it prints out money. Gold mining literally requires all these machinery and digging down in the ground, while Bitcoin, you can actually just take any sort of energy and convert it and point it towards Bitcoin mining, ASICs, and create money out of it. So even abandoned energy sources like waterfalls and everything, you can't find gold there and make it into energy. You can though make that energy into Bitcoin. Now we see this with El Salvador back in the day, a couple of years ago, mining with their volcanoes. All right, now look at this. This is the total global wealth, right? I think this is a couple months old. Shout out to Jesse Myers and River for this chart. So total global wealth in the whole world is around 1,000 trillion, right? Gold represents 29 trillion of that. And Bitcoin is just a little piece over here, 2 trillion. I think this is probably around 30 trillion now, and this is 2 point something trillion. But Bitcoin is already outperforming gold as a store of value. This is only 15. And again, Bitcoin is already outperforming gold as a store of value, right? Back to this chart again. This 84% collapse in gold price in Bitcoin isn't a fluke. It's the market recognizing superior money. So all this is going to eventually come down, and gold will get surpassed by Bitcoin. That's my assumption here. Obviously, Bitcoin's a lot. The learning curve there is very steep. Gold, it just makes sense. It's shiny. It's a rock. I get it. It's been around for forever. But as we learn more about Bitcoin, and more people do, I believe this adoption rate is going to explode. I mean, we're witnessing the greatest monetary transition in human history, from physical gold to the paper that backed that gold, and then to pure fiat currency, which was backed by nothing, and then now the digital energy money. BlackRock and everyone, they already know this. ETFs launched last year sometime, and they've grown the fastest that any ETF has ever grown. You can see companies like MicroStrategy, they're not buying gold ETFs, they're buying Bitcoin ETFs. And I keep returning back to this chart because, you can see fiat is just, it's cooked. Chad, it's cooked. There's nothing good here except the fungibility and portability of it. That's why they backed it with gold, because they filled in these low gaps with these high gaps. But then once you remove the gold out of it, we're stuck with nothing. We're not even have scarce money. So now we've kind of transitioned from fiat to, we went from gold to fiat backed by gold. Now we're going to Bitcoin. I keep coming back to this chart because the low here, established history. That's the only low in Bitcoin. It just needs some time to grow. So while gold supply continues growing forever, Bitcoin's supply approaches a hard cap. Basic economics, fixed supply plus growing demand equals high prices. So the question isn't whether Bitcoin will replace gold as a store of value. It's just a question of how fast it'll happen. And I believe with the S-curve, it's going to happen pretty soon. All right, so there you have it. Bitcoin versus gold. Why Bitcoin's a better money. If you guys want to go deeper, check out this article that I've linked down below. They lied about gold being the ultimate store of value. Bitcoin is gold 2.0, is better than gold. If you guys learned a little bit about Bitcoin versus gold, like the video downstairs, down below, people say that, and subscribe. I'm gonna make a video every week. All right, let me know what you guys think. Are you guys ready to upgrade from gold to Bitcoin? Do you guys think Bitcoin's just gonna disappear one day? It's all scam, a Ponzi? Hey, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys on the next one.